What is up, guys? We're back with another video over here on the second channel. This is going to be discussing the 3.2.0 update, probably the biggest update since the 3.0 patch. A lot of stuff to go over in this video, so it might be a bit longer of a video. If you guys are hyped for this, drop a like, and if you're new, subscribe. That'd be great. I'm just going to get right into this because we have a lot to go over. I have a whole section of patch notes I'd like to discuss, and we have a bunch of new tracks, or we have one new track and two brand new weapons I'm going to discuss. We have a new map called the Ankro V Games. I don't know, it looks kind of like a skate park or like a bike track. I'm not quite sure what it really is. Looks dope from the pictures though. Right here as well. Kind of like a warehouse. It kind of reminds me of a warehouse. We also do got two brand new weapons. Right here is actually the footage from the Nautilus 47, which actually is the first Splatling in the Splatling class to be able to hold a charge under the ink, which I think is something we've really needed right now for a long time. You're able to hold your charge for up to 5 seconds, just like a regular charger. So just like the Splat charger, but just in Splatling form. It depends what kind of set they give it, otherwise we'll just wait and see. Do like the concept though, we've been needing it for a long time. The name is a bit iffy, kind of hard to say. That's the only thing I really don't like about it. And we also have the bathtub, which was data mined. I actually have a video going over that as well. There was actually a bathtub that actually was data mined. This actually is the weapon, the Bloblobber. I think that's how you pronounce it. It throws 3 bubbles, so it's another slosher. I'm not quite sure that the fire rate might actually be different, because the last time we had somebody that actually data mined it in game, the fire rate was actually the same as the slosher, and it turned out actually not being the slosher fire rate. It was actually way slower. So the fire rate actually might be different. It could be slower, it could be even way faster, and the damage up could be a lot different from what we see in this video. Overall, it looks dope though. Really like it. I think the Splatling and the Slosher class are really getting a lot of new stuff. I'm looking for a new blaster. Please give me a new blaster, even though there's like a shitload of blasters in the game. Or some type of new shooter. A new charger would be great. Something like that. Maybe a charger with like dual charge beams. Instead of a single shot, you can actually, like, it'll be like a double shot, like pretty much like a new Squilfer or like a Swiffer, but with those like double shots, or like a dual pistol or something like that would be kind of cool. Don't really have too much else here. We have the patch notes here, but this is a bit hard to see, so I actually got the Reddit version, which actually was released earlier. We're gonna go over all these patch notes. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, Nintendo, I think, really hates blasters. I don't know what they have against blasters, but this entire patch literally nerfed pretty much most of the other blasters in the game, which I'm really mad about, being a blaster main. I'm just going to go over this real quick for you guys. Let me know what you guys think about anything I discussed in this video in the comment section down below. That'd be great. The Splashomatic Neo, or Splooshomatic Neo, which is actually the one that has a shitty both shitty sets and shitty specials. Nobody uses this weapon apart from Turbo War. Paint's better when firing downward, who cares? Damage the Rainmaker shield increased by 10%, nobody cares, his weapon sucks. Splattershot Junior Custom got a new special ink tank. Makes me wonder if they're going to be doing this for all weapons, or they're going to be giving each weapon class like a different, or like specific weapons a different niche, like the Splattershot. Splattershot is actually one of the best weapons in the game with ink consumption. So I'm not quite sure why they gave it 10% higher ink capacity with a brand new tank. Going to be interesting to see how that really goes. The Splattershot Junior is actually the one with ink armor, so going to be a lot of stuff. You can even run less. You don't even have to run an ink saver main to begin with, and it just means you can sit and shoot a lot more without having to worry about ink, because it's already one of the best ink efficient games or weapons in the game. The Splashomatic Neo, which is actually the most recently released one, no accuracy penalty when shooting midair, so it was already 100% accurate when you were just standing and shooting. Even in midair, it's 100% accurate, so that's kind of cool. The only weapon in the game, don't quote me on that, but I think the only weapon in the game that is 100% accurate no matter what, currently. Aerospray, MG, and RG. Paint's better when firing downward from height. Doesn't really matter, so paint's great. The Lunar Blaster Neo, which nobody uses. The accuracy penalty for after jumping decreased by 20%, so you're a little bit more accurate when you're jumping, so you don't have as much reticle RNG. Is there anybody who used the Lunar Blaster Neo after this buff? Still, no. unfortunately. The L3 nozzle nose, 11% move speed increase when shooting. Nobody uses the L3 nozzle nose, unfortunately. It has a decent set, but nobody really uses it. Maybe you'll get a bit more usage after this buff. Not quite sure. The H3 nozzle nose, when hitting wall in 3 shots, when pushed to the trigger, if total damage inflicted is equal or above 100, you get a cosmetic effect like blasters or chargers. So pretty much if you get a KO, it'll get like pretty much be like the same sound effect for a one-hit KO from a charger or a blaster. And paints walls better, nobody cares. The Squeezer, Foil Squeezer. When holding down ZR, decrease time before rapid fire by 6 frames. So the Squeezer gets a bit of a buff. It fires a lot quicker. Every single roller in the game got a buff this patch. No brushes, unfortunately. Brushes, I really don't think they need a buff. They're solid right the way they are. Decreased ink consumption when rolling at max speed by 33%. So the Splat roller mainly got a huge buff here. I don't think really any of the other rollers really needed a buff. I guess maybe the Gold Dynamo roller and the Dynamo roller, just because they're so bad on ink consumption. Maybe that was good for them. But mainly, in my opinion, the Splat roller, because I do use that off and on. Where are we? The Squiffer charge speed in air adjusted to be the same as on ground. So you pretty much, say you're on Moray Towers, you jump off the edge and you charge mid-air. It charges the same speed as you do if you're just standing on the ground. So there's going to be a lot of trick shots with the Squiffer. Looking forward to seeing those. The Eliter 4K Custom, 15% damage increase to Rainmaker Shield at full charge. I don't know why they gave it to the Custom Eliter 4K out of like both of them. I'm not quite sure. This could be a bit of a typo as well. They maybe could have given it to all the leaders. I don't see why they would give it to the Custom Eliter 4K and leave the other one the same. Still looking for that 105 or 110% range buff. Still haven't got that. Hydra Splatling, full charge damage increased to 40. Partial charge damage increased from 28 to 28 to 32. So a bit of a damage buff for the Hydra Splatling. Sadly, it's probably the least used Splatling out of everything right now. The Undercover Umbrella with a really cool mechanic, the Sorella Umbrella. Canopy will now fully repair on kill/assist, even if destroyed before. So say you get your umbrella destroyed, your opponent already has damage already taken. You get an assist, your umbrella or your shield will actually reappear instantly. So that's kind of cool. Still one of the worst weapons in the game, but it's a cool mechanic. I'm not going to be using it anytime. Here's where they get into the stuff, guys. They nerfed the shit again out of one of the blasters. They gave it the blaster treatment from the last patch. The Rapid Blaster Pro. I'm assuming it's both Rapid Blaster Pros and the Deco. 60% range decrease on explosions. Same as regular blaster now, but just longer range. Really unfortunate. Really don't know why they gave it this nerf. I think it was still good the way it is. People say it took no skill, but the people that say that the weapon takes no skill have never used the weapon competitively in high pressure situations. I don't know why they gave it this nerf. Again, another unneeded nerf to one of the blasters from the blaster class. Another example why Nintendo hates blasters. Really mad about that one. The Ballpoint Splatling, which is probably one of the best nerfs in my opinion. This nerf needed to happen. Decreased charge speed in air and went out of ink by 33%. I know people were just spamming the shit out of this on maps like Camp Triggerfish and mainly Schellendorf Institute. They would sit and run out of ink. Even out of ink, it would still charge super fast. So you pretty much could stand on top of like Schellendorf Institute or pretty much anywhere there's no inkable spots and just sit there and run your ink tank dry and you'd still get a really fast charge. So I do agree with that nerf. It was needed. The Custom Dually Squelchers finally get a nerf in this patch. I've been wanting these things to get nerfed for like 3 patches now. Hopefully we see less of these kind of dualies in battle. Increased in consumption when shooting by 20%. All people would do is roll around to the point where you can't hit them, and they would never run out of ink. You run a couple ink saver mains, and you'd be good to roll around for most of the match majority. So, really agreeant with that nerf. We got a couple sub-weapon. We got a buff to the point sensor, which I really agree with. The point sensor is one of the most underrated subs in the game. velocity increased by roughly 21%, increasing its flight range, so you're able to throw it a lot farther without having sub power up, which is kind of cool. How far are we in? 10 minutes, not bad. The auto bomb gets a bit of a buff, yet still gets a bit of a nerf. I think the tracking time I really agree with. I think the tracking time was way too long of tracking time. I think having it reduced by 1.5 seconds won't hurt the auto bomb whatsoever. Just makes your opponents be a little bit more wary of where the auto bomb is, because it's going to be exploding a lot faster. The ink consumption from 70% of your ink tank down to 55%. So weapons like the end zap, I mean, you're not really running too much sub save around the end zap anyways, but weapons like the blaster, where you have a really ink heavy weapon the way it is, or the custom blaster, you have a really ink heavy weapon the way it is, and having a sub of the auto bomb taking 70% of your ink tank down to 55% gives that weapon a huge buff, at least sub wise. So I really agree with this one. The auto bomb with a huge buff here, yet it even gets a bit of a 2 nerfs, but I think it's still going to be solid. They equal each other out. Explosion range reduced about by 7%, but then again you can just run some power up if you really need to get the explosion rate back up. Probably the most buff special in the game since the 3.0 patch. The Tenta missiles, I think we're going to be seeing a lot more Tenta missiles probably tomorrow night once this patch does release. This is absolutely insane. I think the Clash Blaster right now is going to be one of the most OP weapons in the game. And I happen to actually have a set for that actually fits this perfectly. If only one target is selected, 10 missiles are fired around the target, which is insane. If 2 targets are selected, 5 missiles per target are fired at a faster rate than before. Special power-up, which always should have been the case. I don't know why this was not the case. It was reticle size, not the missile explosion, which I originally thought what it was, but it turned out to be reticle size. The special power-up is now increased coverage of missile explosions, so that's absolutely insane, and it actually even helps my set out a lot more. So I'm going to be getting reticle size and a special power-up, increasing my missile explosion. So that's absolutely insane with my current Clash Blaster set. Also, in other weapons, I think the NZAP really has a NZAP 89. It's going to be really powerful with all these buffs. The Auto Bomb got a really good buff with the 55% ink tank, and the Tenta missiles being really OP from what it looks like. I think the NZAP 89 is going to be getting a huge rise in usage, as the Clash Blaster Neo, which already has great usage, but it's going to be even rising in more usage. The Dually Squelchers, I think, is going to be rising in usage again as well. Stuff like that. Even like the Octobrush with the Tenta missiles and the Beacon, going to be rising in usage as well. Pretty much anything with Tenta missiles at this point. Can now target a Rainmaker shield, which is really cool. It gives Tenta missile weapons with a special Tenta missiles a huge niche in a certain game mode. More viability to weapons that have Tenta missiles. Damage to the shield reduced by 50%, so I guess they reduce damage to the shield, so you're not able to do as much damage, but kind of equals each other out right here. Target that appears on lockdown players will now indicate how many missiles are coming in. So say you select one player, it's going to show a 10 on top of the player as you see the missiles going and attacking the player on the field. That's a very cool mechanic. I don't know why they never did this sooner. Splashdown gets a bit of a buff, not really a buff anybody wants, but increased painting radius when landing and less gaps in ink coverage. Does it really matter for Splashdown? No, it's the most unreliable special in the game, and that really holds back a lot of weapons that have the Splashdown, mainly the Blaster. Inkjet landing marker is easy to see, and now will display a timer to know when the user will land, so even more probability that you'll probably be getting camped at your landing spot. So a lot more reason to run drop roller on a lot of weapons. Mainly for the custom blaster, the ink brush, or the octo brush, stuff like that. The ballpoint splatling. Probably 3 of the main inkjet users right now, along with the rapid blaster deco. We got some point adjustments. The 96 scale going from 190 to 180. Doesn't really matter. I think I agree with the buff, but the weapon still sucks. It's one of the worst weapons in the game. The custom blaster, yet another blaster they are giving a nerf to. They gave a nerf to the Rapid Blaster Pro and four other blasters in this patch, guys. If this does not show that Nintendo hates the shit out of blasters, I don't know what does. Custom blaster from 180 to 190. I do not agree with this whatsoever. 180 was the perfect special point power for this weapon. 190 is overboard. Just means you have to run more special power up or special charge up for those. I guess you have to run special power up anyways because it has inkjet on the weapon. But Clash Blaster from 170 to 180 has Stingray. Nobody really uses the Clash Blaster over the Clash Blaster Neo. I think the Neo, even with this nerf, is still going to be incredibly good. The Curling Bomb is great on the weapon, and with the inclusion of Tenta Missiles, being a really short-range weapon, having Tenta Missiles with an insane buff, I don't think this nerf is really going to affect the weapon that much. But I still think 170 is a lot better than 180. And it kind of screws up my gear set right now as well, for what I'm running with the weapon. Rapid Blaster Deco is the one with inkjet. They actually raised it from 180 to 190. Again, they're giving it the custom blaster treatment in the same patch. It has inkjet. Well, what's the stop? Give it some more special point power because everybody thinks inkjet is OP, even though one it doesn't really need the nerf. I do not agree with that whatsoever. Again, killing the blasters. Nintendo does not like blasters. The slosher getting from 180 to 190, nobody really cares. I think the reason they're doing this is because it has Tenta Missiles. The slosher replica is the same thing. Mini Splatling actually has the Tenta Missiles as well. They're pretty much giving everything with Tenta Missiles a point power buff. They might know that actually Tenta Missiles is going to be very, very overpowered. That's why they're giving a lot of things with Tenta Missiles a nerf, these special wise. Mini Splatling, the ballpoint Splatling has inkjet. A well-deserved nerf. The ballpoint Splatling is way overpowered. The Splat Dually is getting a nerf 180 to 190 just because it had Tenta Missiles. Do I think it's going to hurt the Splat Dualies? No, because they paint really, really well. And Perry Splat Dualies has inkjet from 190, a second buff for 2 times in the last 2 patches. 190 to 200. It still paints incredibly well and has a great special. I don't think it's going to hurt the weapon that much. Dually Squelchers has the Tenta Missiles again. Another Tenta Missile weapon getting a nerf 180 to 190. I don't think it'll really hurt the weapon that much. Custom Dually Squelchers, a really well-deserved nerf. It actually has the Rain Cloud from 180 to 200 with the added 20% ink consumption rate when dodge rolling. I think the Dually Squelchers are kind of getting phased out. It's the era of the either Splat Dualies right now, I think it's going to be, or the Dabble Dualies again. Dabble Dualies are really solid right now, and I've been actually using them myself, trying to get into the Dually class. The Dark Tetra Dually is getting a huge nerf for some reason. I don't know why. It has the worst special in the game, and they're giving it from 170, 20 points up to 190. I don't know why they're doing this. Again, half the time you're going to have to run a special saver because your special doesn't even work. You'll die midair. Again, I don't agree with this whatsoever. They give it the Dark Tetra Dually as a buff like a patch or 2 ago with less ink consumption when dodge rolling. And now they just want to nerf the shit out of the special when the special sucks. I don't agree with that whatsoever. Dark Tetra Dualies are like the least used dualies out of any dualies right now. I don't know why they're nerfing them even more. Maybe the Light Tetra Dualies in next month when they release those might be a little bit better. I know they have a Splat Bomb Rush and Sprinkler from what we've seen. Maybe those will be a little bit better. Bugs. I'm not going to go over any of the bugs, anything like this. But if you guys want to check this out, it's on Reddit. You guys can go look on the Splatoon News Twitter. It's linked on there. Or in my likes. You guys want to follow me on Twitter, that'd be cool. But apart from that, let me know what you guys think of these nerfs. Mostly nerfs in this patch. Nerfing the shit out of the blasters. A lot of stuff with Tenta Missiles. Let me know what you guys think of the Tenta Missile buff. I think it's kind of OP, and that's the reason why they're nerfing a lot of the weapons that have Tenta Missiles is because the special is going to be insanely good. Just means you have to run a little bit more special charge up if you're going to be running a lot of those weapons. I know I'm going to be using the shit out of the Clash Blaster Neo as probably like other people. That weapon's going to be insanely good. I think it's going to probably be one of the top tier blasters coming up here in this next meta shift. I think after this patch does go live, there's going to be a huge meta shift towards Tenta Missiles, and at least having one Tenta Missile user on your squad, for competitive at least, or at least having a solid option over a lot of other things. But yeah, apart from that, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Drop a like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.